Hey, listen, this is a big pitch, but I'm not going to die into Hogan Hill. By the way, if there's four finishers that are better, or three finishers that are better, don't worry about that. I'm not like you, Paul. I'm not married to all of these like really ridiculous pitches. Okay, I can let go of my version of Frasier or 28 Days Later. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I always start with a big one. I can't help myself. I just have to do it, and I really feel like this is probably the most important wrestling move of all time. I think I wouldn't be a pro wrestler. I don't think we're having this conversation. I don't think these video games are on behind me. I don't think any of this happened. Pontiac Silverdome, 78,000 people, the most important moment in wrestling history. So many important moments for Hulk Hogan, whether it's all the title wins, whether it's everything else, it always ended with him jumping and dropping that leg drop. Further on his career, if we ever do Mount Rushmore best wrestling matches, my favorite, and I think the greatest wrestling match of all time, is WrestleMania 18, The Rock and Hulk Hogan. I think it's the perfect wrestling match. The best moment in that, which was probably, again, my favorite moment in any wrestling match, is when, a bit of context, Hogan goes in as the heel, the bad guy, Rock goes in as the good guy, and the crowd is this like crazy, ridiculous, hardcore Canadian wrestling fans that just loved Hogan so much that midway through the match, they have to change it where like Hogan becomes the good guy and Rock becomes the bad guy. And that moment where Hogan becomes the good guy with the leg drop. Final point on it, it's like the most significant and most important heel turn in the history of professional wrestling is when Hollywood Hulk Hogan came out, joined the NWO, and dropped a leg drop on your boy Macho Man Randy Savage, and turned heel. If Hulk Hogan doesn't turn heel, we don't get the Attitude Era. We don't get Steve Austin. We don't get the Vince McMahon character. We don't get the success that wrestling became after that. So I'm going to say that the Andre moment and the heel turn moment are so significant to the success and growth of professional wrestling that I think the leg drop needs to go on the Mount Rushmore. And also, it's very important to say as well that that is such a simple move that anyone can do, that you will probably, if you turn on AEW or turn on WWE, you will probably see a leg drop within the whole context of the show. But it's how Hogan did that leg drop. Hogan's leg drop is different to any other leg drop, kind of similar to the elbow as well. But I think it's a simple move, which I do understand, but Hogan made it much more than that. And it's so important for the reasons I stated. I think it's defined pro wrestling, made pro wrestling what it is. Obviously, Hulk Hogan has, but that move has been part of him the whole way.
Interesting. What do you think of that, Paul?
Didn't think we were going to get a history lesson along with our moves. Holy shit. What I'd say is, I think that's a really good point. Really well thought. You obviously thought about this in detail. My only counter to that would be that I don't think the move matters. I think it was who was doing the move. So I think he could have done Sweet Chin Music. He could have done an elbow drop. He could have done, I don't know, the Warriors finish. He could have done any finish. I think it was the person, not the move, if that makes sense. So it's like the character.
He didn't do any other move. He did a leg drop.
I know, but in terms of like best finishing move, like I think it was the fact that he turned heel. It wasn't that he used a leg drop to like. You know what I mean? The people were popping off because he turned heel, not because of the move. So that'd be my only counter to that. But I think it was like an excellent point.
But if you think really, about it, like really just like, I feel like we're getting into the deliberations already. But if you feel like when he gets in the ring for that moment in the NWO and he drops a leg drop, if he punches Randy Savage or if he knees Randy Savage or he slams him, it's not as impactful as he hits the leg drop. When he dropped the leg drop on Andre the Giant, you knew that the match was over because the leg drop was over because Hogan had the leg drop over. It doesn't matter how good it is; it was over because it was him. I take Hulk Hogan out of it, and the leg drop was a standalone move. I agree, but the significance Hogan brought to his one, because when he hit it, watch the crowd erupt. They know that that's it.
This will be a hard deliberation now. I already know this is going to be tough. Wow. Okay.
Because like everything you said about the impact and the importance and the significance is totally right. And it's really good argument to have because we kind of curate the top four with specific features and attributes. But when you were saying that, I was like, oh my God, imagine if it was an elbow drop instead. I was like, imagine if it was something like good. Like it's even when I was a kid, I remember like watching it. Oh, like the body slam was like, oh, that's more iconic in the Andre the Giant moment. But like, yeah, I totally get you though. So you're kind of winning me over on the legacy and the impact.
You know what he's doing?
Industry.
He's doing a 28 Days Later round. He's like, he's getting the emotional heart. The very thing he gave out about last episode. I don't want to hear this shit
listen,
of what it meant and all this shit.
You can take something very, very simple and make it your own. A really good example, like, and I'm going to say it now because it's not going to even be considered for the Mount Rushmore, but at some point, the Big Show used a knockout punch as his finisher. And if you think about that, legitimately, he's 500 pounds. He's the biggest man that ever existed in wrestling. If he punched you, you're going to die. So therefore, when the Big Show did a punch, it meant a lot more than anyone else doing a punch. So I think it's not the move, it's the person that makes it.
Interesting.
So that's a really good point. I think maybe this I'll save this for the deliberation. So we're getting into sort of like, we're coupling the wrestler with the finish. It's not the finish. It's the wrestler.
Really?
It's wrestler with the finish.
But if you were to mention, like I'm sure most, I say 90% of the finishes, if you name the finish first that we're going to pitch today, the wrestler will be associated with straight away. When I say leg drop, people think Hogan. When you say flying elbow, you think Macho Man. I'm not going to give away any other ones that are going to come up. But I think you're automatically going to make an association with the wrestler.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is a big pitch, but I'm not going to die in the Hogan Hill. By the way, it's just 4 finishers that are better, or 3 finishers that are better. Don't worry about that. I'm not like you, Paul. I'm not married to all of these like really ridiculous pitches. Okay, I can let go of my version of Frasier or 28 Days Later. Okay.
Where's my comfort key? Where's my comfort key?
Richie's got a keychain full of leg drops.
Just watching Hogan dropping legs all day.
Excellent. So Paul, do you want to go up next?